Hi my friends, welcome back to KTB Creates. Today we are going to create this adorable bunny topiary, which is actually a Pier One dupe. And I'm excited to show you how I put this together. So let's get right into the project. So today we're going to recreate this cute little bunny that I found at Pier One. It was listed for $29.99. It's not available anymore, but we are going to create it out of Dollar Tree items. So first you're going to need 2 of these foam balls. So I got one larger one, which was like a soccer ball, and then a smaller softball. And you want to get the foam kind because you'll see why later on. We're going to stick pipe cleaners in them. So I felt like that was the easiest type of fabric to use. So I decided to paint mine with some acrylic green paint. Any kind of paint will do, and it's just because we're going to cover them with your reindeer moss. So I didn't want any of the colors to seep through, and that way we can hide the colors a little bit more. So here we're going to just cut up some of our reindeer moss into little tiny pieces so that it'll adhere to your balls really nicely. I am going to use my hot glue gun and just kind of roll it around in that reindeer moss until it's covered to my liking. And you can then pick up little pieces and apply it as you go. So once you have your ball covered sufficiently, you're just going to give it a little haircut with a pair of scissors, and you're just really cutting off any excess that is kind of hanging off, just to make a nice uniform round ball. I know some people have said that you can also then spray it with hairspray to avoid any of that reindeer moss falling out. I did not try that, but it's a good tip I wanted to point out. So next you're going to take I'm taking a skewer that I got at the Dollar Tree. They're the really long skewers. And I'm just basically measuring how much you need to poke through the large ball and about halfway into that small ball. So once you figure out your size as far as that goes, then you'll cut your skewer. And I am just going to apply some antique wax to this I didn't like the stark wood look of it. So that's what I decided to use to paint that skewer, just to make it a little more old looking. Next, you're going to take 2 pipe cleaners. I only had white, so this is what I'm using. I would recommend using brown if you have that. And you're simply going to take some twine, and you're going to start wrapping the twine around the pipe cleaner. You want to leave a little bit at the bottom of the pipe cleaner so that you can stick that into the foam ball. And you're just going to wrap that twine around the pipe cleaner tightly, as tight as you can, without having any of the white show through. Now it does peek through a little bit. Sorry, my camera didn't focus there, but it does peek through a tiny bit. So because of that, I decided to go back in and just apply some of that antique wax over the twine, just to kind of fill in those little gaps where the white kind of peeks through. So that's optional as well, but I liked the look of that. So once you're done with that, you're all set and ready to attach your pipe cleaner or your bunny ears to the small ball. I would put them a little bit closer together than I'm placing mine, and you're gonna hot glue them in. You're gonna stick that pipe cleaner into the foam and then hot glue them. And then you can adjust the shape of them after you're done. Like I said, I would apply them a little bit closer together if I could redo it. But once you apply the hot glue, they're really stuck in there really well. After I did this, I did decide I wasn't happy with just the twine look. You'll see in the picture, the ears had like this white yarn or something around it, and they stood out a little bit better. So I decided to then go back in. You'll see I found some yarn that I had, and I went back in and layered that in. So here I'm just affixing the ears to the foam ball with my hot glue, just making sure they're secured really well. And then you can go ahead and fill in the areas that you use the hot glue with some more reindeer moss if you don't like the way it looks, or if the hot glue is peeking out too much. So now I wanted to show you where I had I don't know what I was thinking, but I did use 2 bags of the rocks that you find at the Dollar Tree. But I stuck my skewer right in the rocks, thinking that that would be sturdy enough. I'm not sure why I thought that would be sturdy enough. But these are the life of a DIYer and the things that you realize after you're doing things. And you're simply gonna stick the big ball right through the middle of that skewer, and then take your small ball and stick it in about halfway. And then you can adjust it as you go. You can hot glue it just to make sure that they don't move, but they're pretty secure just placing it on the skewer. And then I just took some twine and I applied a little bow, just using a couple strings of twine. But like I said, I felt like this was a little too plain, and I wasn't completely happy with it. So you'll see what I decided to do in the next clip. So here's the yarn that I found. I don't even know what it's called. I had used it a long time ago to make a wreath that I will actually show you, just so you could see what the yarn really looks like. But it's like discolored, it has some brown going through it, and it's a really cool type of yarn. So I decided to go in and add that to the bunny ears. And I'm just like wrapping it around and spacing it out a little bit in between. You don't have to wrap it as tightly as you did as the twine, but it just gives a nice look to it and a nice effect. And I think it looks a lot more like my dupe in the Pier One bunny. So you'll have to let me know what you think, if you liked it with just the plain twine or if you like this added feature. So definitely let me know down in the comments below. So once you get your 2 ears wrapped with that yarn, I then took 2 pieces of twine and 1 piece of that yarn, and I'm just tying that around where the neck area and making a quick little bow. And again, I think it just adds a little extra pizzazz to it, a little more texture. I like the way this looks a lot better than just the twine, but it is your personal preference. So I hope you love this DIY as much as I did. It is probably costing, I would say, less than $10 with some of the material that I already had on hand versus your $29.99 bunny that you could purchase at Pier One. So I'm really happy with the way it turned out in comparison with the Pier One original bunny. And I hope you loved it too. Please don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I would love to have you as part of the KTB Creates family. Thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for more videos to come.